wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons, the Transformers. The Transformers.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting edition of Transformers Reviews. Today, guys, I'm happy to bring you two figures from the Siege on Cybertron set. That being the Decepticon clone, or Decepticlone Pounce, and the Titan Master for Thunderwing. Now, as far as these two go, I think a lot of people might be under the misconception that they're the weak part of the set. And that may stem from the fact that these two, as far as the overall set goes, these two are probably the ones that do the least amount of stuff. Now, I personally don't subscribe to the theory that just because it does less, that it makes it the weaker part of the set. I think it's unique in its own right. But, you know, I'm not going to make that judgment for you guys. If you want to watch this review, I'll let you make that decision yourself. So, anyway, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll start off with the Titan Master for Thunderwing. And, you know, as far as a Titan Master goes, he's, you know, at least a pleasant blend of, and not too badly detailed as far as, like, the head goes and stuff. But I like his robot mode. However, this was not the only time that this core robot was used. Now, the faces were different for the next two that I'm going to show you. But for the other exclusive of Scorponok, if you can kind of see, it's basically just the same robot body, just different colored plastic. And also this was used for the Ultra Magnus Titan Master as well. So, I mean, you can see it's just basically the same robot that's been used 3 times over. But I have to say, for each of these Titan Masters, to finally have a unique head that represents these 3 characters, if I can get it turned around here, yeah, I don't think they're too bad at all. And the fact that all 3 of these, I believe in one of my deals I said they were die cast. I want to correct that. I don't know if that's true, and if I am right, then that's awesome. If not, I apologize. I wanted to correct that. At the very least, these are all metal, each of these faces. So while the core robot body is plastic, they went ahead and make sure that all 3 of these faces are metal. So weird. It's kind of like a Transformers Mount Rushmore right there. Anyway, that aside. Yeah, Thunderwing I think is really kind of cool, and we'll look at him later on because there's something really special I want to show you guys that I discovered as far as who this Titan Master can be used with. So we'll go ahead and look at Pounce here, and he is, like I said, a Decepticon clone, or I guess if you want to call him a Decepticlone, that works too. His beast mode is supposed to be a Puma, but I could kind of see it passing for a Tiger as well. And, you know, as far as beast modes go, it's not the worst. I just think that there's some things that are a little bit lacking. Like, for instance, you can see the arms regardless of which side you're looking at. And probably the tail section is it's kind of, those are like the issues I have that are just kind of like, it kind of makes this figure just not as great as it could have been. But, I mean, like I said, it's not the worst one I've ever seen. So, I got to actually thinking that if they cast this thing in all white plastic and were able to put tiger stripes on it, they could actually legitimately pass this off as a new version of Cybertron Beast Wars. And his robot mode actually could lend itself to that even more. And you'll see that when we get to it. But, yeah, I mean, as far as beast mode, it's not bad. Now, the one thing that is interesting about this, as he is a Legends class, like all the others that were released during the Titans Return line, you can definitely have a Titans Return figure riding him like a means of transport or whatever. So, anyway, and normally you guys know that I don't do transformations in my video, but because this is just such a very simple transformer, I'm going to make an exception. We'll go ahead and transform him on camera. So anyway, one of the first things you want to do is take his legs, straighten them out, flip them around on the lower part, and make sure that these beast mode legs go up into the back side of his robot mode legs. And then, much like Beast Wars Cybertron, And Cheetor, you're going to make sure that the legs fold up, and as they go back, it will pull the robot mode with it. So that way the beast mode will tuck behind the back like that. We do the same for the other side, fold it up, they both go back. And then the only thing left is to take, well, one of the few things left, take the beast mode head, fold it on the back, turn the robot mode head around, and then for this, it's really just kind of whatever you want to do. You can do that, or you can leave it down like this to have a more streamlined, less backpack look. But overall, Pounce is not a bad figure. It is true that he does not come with a weapon, so if you're going to, you would have to take it from either another bigger Transformer figure, or you would even have to use one of the Titan Masters with the beast mode or vehicles that they came with. He is a little bit stocky for if they did use him as Cybertron, but you know, if they remolded the head a little bit and did just a few other small aesthetic changes, I think it would look good. Alright guys, I wanted to show you what Thunderwing would look like with a robot mode body, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay guys, I think I found probably what I, in my personal opinion, believe is the best body for Thunderwing to use. And it might surprise you. And if you can already guess what that is just by looking at what I'm showing you, I applaud you. But for everyone who's still wondering, I believe that it is the Nitro from the Last Night line. Now, if you watched my Nitro Zeus, I still hate that stupid name. If you've watched my Nitro review, then you'll understand why they use Titan's Return technology on this figure. But anyway, regardless of why, they actually did, and whenever I was looking for different things for, or different bodies for Thunderwing to actually use, I thought, you know what, I wonder. And to me, this kind of looks somewhat like his, it looks similar to several iterations that we've seen of Thunderwing. Then that, again, that's just in my personal opinion. If you disagree, I respect that, but to me personally, I think it looks really close. Now, Nitro doesn't usually have his wings like this, but for Thunderwing, I think it looks good. And as a Voyager, it helps with a little bit of him having a bigger size as opposed to more standard sized deluxe figures. I really do like how Thunderwing looks on this body. If I ever display him in robot mode, I'm just going to use Nitro as kind of a stand-in. Now, I did say in my RC review that if you wanted to see Ultra Magnus, I would go ahead and show him off. But before I do that, I also want to show a certain Titan Master that I've already shown off a couple times, and that is Scorponok. Now, I showed him on a couple different body, or at least a different body in the review that he was in with Grotesque. But the thing is later on I was kind of messing around, and I noticed he actually ties in really good with Octane's mold. I was shocked, and I thought, well, you know what? If I want to display Scorponok, since we don't have like a Titan or a Leader class version, I was like, I'll just stick him on here because he doesn't look bad at all. So we'll go ahead and stick Octane over here, kind of behind Thunderwing. Okay, now for Ultra Magnus. What I did is even though it says Optimus Prime on the chest, I think that probably the Chaos on Velocitron Optimus body serves its purpose really well for Ultra Magnus. And the reason I turn these around before anybody says anything in the comments is, yes, they're supposed to be like this, but I think for Ultra Magnus, and you can leave them like that if you want to, but to kind of homage a little bit more Ultra Magnus look, I turned them like this just to make them, you know, to me personally, I think it kind of helps homage a little bit more of the giant shoulder stacks that he had, and you know, it ties in better with the rest of the red and the black, so it kind of helps break up, whereas this is all just a solid bunch of gray plastic here. It kind of breaks it up a little bit. So, but personally, I like this as him because I can stick him on the shelf next to Genrai Prime, and that way I'd have an Ultra Magnus and an Optimus. Like I said, even though it says Optimus Prime, you can kind of ignore that because, well, you just can. Alright guys, these are the 3 specialty headmasters that I showed you earlier, and this is kind of the forms that I chose for all 3 of them. And again, just personally in my opinion, I like these the best out of everything that I have. So we'll go ahead and throw old Pounce back in here. Now he's the smallest of the group. Alrighty, and so even though Thunderwing and Pounce are the smallest out of that entire set, I kind of did this part of the review this way just to kind of show you guys that maybe even though that they are the smallest, that maybe there's some alternative ways to use them that perhaps nobody really kind of thought about before. So in conclusion, guys, this has been the review for Titan's Return Siege on Cybertron set pieces of Pounce and the Titan Master Thunderwing. I hope you guys really enjoyed this review, and just to let you all know that I'm going to have a lot of new reviews coming out, so please be on the lookout for those. And until then, we will see you guys next time in another review.